Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us here on a Monday. We're playing some worldwide wrestling, or at least some version of what that game should look like. We're still learning the rules. So this is, I guess, officially our session one. We created characters and everything last time. We did a couple of matches. Our characters got their contracts, so they are officially wrestling with the Wrestle to the Future promotions, the WTF promotions. So, tonight's event will feature a maybe an event that will not get us sued by the WWE, the Regal Wrangle. So, and I cut it down. It's not going to be 30 participants. It's going to be 20 participants because 20 already seems like too much. So we'll do 20.
Think about all the content, though. If you do go into litigation with WWE, like we could do this weekly retrospective on the happenings and Discovery.
I will trade you these 17 gimmicks I just came up with. They could be all yours.
Yeah,
if you promise to not sue me. Well, I am going to be playing the role of creative. My name's Alex. I've been a pro wrestling fan since I think the first, I don't know what pay-per-view it was, but I'm pretty sure the first match that I remember was a ladder match between, I think it was what was Scott Hall's character in WWE?
Razor Ramon.
It was Razor Ramon, and I want to say it was Shawn Michaels, maybe, for like an Intercontinental Championship match. It was a ladder match,
an amazing match,
and I think it was. Yeah, it's like a notable match that they always bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as like the definitive ladder match until the Hardys and Edge and Christian did their thing.
SummerSlam 1995.
I thought it was SummerSlam. I was going to say that, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was like 3rd grade, 4th grade, maybe. I was at a buddy's house. So, I don't know.
Did you see it live?
Yes, it was like his dad bought the pay-per-view and
bought it. Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I think maybe Yokozuna. I remember as a kid, like Yokozuna was like the guy that I was like most fascinated by. Yeah, I think he was the champion. Somewhere I've got a sketchbook that has like as a 3rd grader me drawing the matches like afterwards. Like I was trying to remember or recreate. Like I'll find them sometime and post them to Discord.
That's incredible.
Because they're really bad. I inherited none of my father's artistic talent. So anyway,
you should have your dad recreate them. You should have him redraw them for you.
Have him redraw my drawings as actual.
Yeah.
Did you say you had the drawings still?
Somewhere, yeah, because I came across them like not that long ago.
I shall take a look. Maybe look for them. Post them in Discord.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
We would love that.
Have posted embarrassing things from my childhood that I've drawn in the past. It's pretty funny. I think I posted like a fantasy map at some point that had like, I don't know, it was like some like inappropriate sounding names for terrain, but like as a kid, like I had no idea that Cone Mountain and like having 2 cones right next to each other drawn the way they were was probably not good.
He's a Madonna fan.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something subconscious going on. So I guess that is going to be the prompt as we all introduce ourselves. Maybe like, what is the earliest wrestling match you remember? I guess I'll go next to you, Joe.
So yeah, I'm Joe. I'm playing Zach Grimes, who's a hardcore wrestler. First wrestling match I remember. Man, that's a tough one. I'm probably gonna say I feel like I remember being really young and seeing like my mom's friend's kid watching an early Big Boss Man match, like when he was still in like the blue uniform, like the cop / security guard uniform instead of like the SWAT thing when he came back. but I don't remember much about it. So I'm gonna instead say the match that like sticks out in my head the most about wrestling was the main event for WrestleMania 15, which is Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson at ringside. And apparently Mike Tyson could also referee because he slides in at the last minute and counts 1, 2, 3. But that was the only pay-per-view that my dad actually let me pay for and get. So like we went to the cable company, got a cable box.
Oh shit.
I saved up my money, paid for WrestleMania. Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal, and I loved every second of it.
At least you picked a decent one to do that.
Yeah.
Like, it was worth the hassle. Like, there were a lot of stinkers back then, so.
There totally were. Yes, I am very glad that was what it was. Like, I think that one was good. I think maybe like I could have lucked out with the Royal Rumble with when Mick Foley came out 3 times.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. So that was the main thing.
Well, there's still time. I could retcon. I was like, I was just thinking like, shit. I didn't think to like do something like that for our
something like that.
Yeah.
I will say though that my embarrassing like wrestling artwork thing was in 7th grade. We had a team project of writing our own magazine. So like each person had to like write a certain number of articles and like you had to create ads and all that. And I have our magazine from 7th grade, and it was a wrestling magazine. And I wrote an article about Al Snow and subtitled it "The Man with Two Heads." Yeah. So maybe I'll dig that out and share some of the fine prose in Discord.
Yes, the man with 2 heads. That's what that meant. So Percy says Calgary had Stampede Wrestling when he was a kid. He could get to see Stu Hart matches.
Oh shit!
I don't think I have ever heard you say much about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Every match you would know who would win because the guy who came out first always lost. Yeah. Seems right. All right, let's check in. How about Dawson?
Oh, for my first match, started all the way back in 2004 with the titular Bonesaw versus the Human Spider. That was my very first ever exposure to any sort of wrestling.
Yeah.
You are
in here with me.
3 minutes.
There's a 3-minute time limit.
Were you eating a Slim Jim while you were watching?
Probably not. It was probably like full of mac and cheese, probably. Very nice. But if I were to think on what my first ever match was, I don't remember all too many because it's like way back in 2010 is when I started watching wrestling. So it was probably something with John Cena versus the Nexus. That was a very popular thing back then. Now, it wasn't great. I don't think it was the best it could have been, but it's like that's the one thing I do remember from that time. I didn't get any winners is what I'm trying to say. I didn't get no Shawn Michaels or Mick Foley. I got Cena and Wade Barrett.
I was gonna say Wade Barrett was like top of that, right, for a while.
Sure was.
He was
Was
good.
Punk ever in Nexus?
Yes, he was at some point.
Is Wade Barrett on commentary now, or is that some other dude?
Yeah, he is, because they always have the little Wade Barrett cartoon on the
Botchamania. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Wade Barrett.
Oh, that is Wade Barrett? I didn't know that.
Yep. I feel like his Bad News Barrett gimmick should have gone further because that was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right, and let's move to Isaac.
All right. So the first, I mean, I remember watching a lot of like WCW when I was younger, and even before that, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, like all like the even Ultimate Warrior, like that era. I remember it's very very kind of hazy, right? But the match I think I remember most, I mean, and it's gonna stand out, and I think a lot of people are gonna do that. It's the Undertaker versus Mankind Hell in the Cell match. I went over to my cousin's, and he had bought the pay-per-view, so we were there and we were watching it. And I just couldn't believe like what I was seeing. It was like imprinted in my mind, like, and I would always go like when I think of wrestling. I want to say up to maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, that was the first match that would come in my mind, was that one. How incredibly crazy that was. That, and I think like in 6th, 7th grade, I would go to like, when like I'd stay over at my buddy's house and we go to Compton to watch luchadors. So like I would meet like all the like famous like Mil Mascara and the Blue Demon and all those like all those things. They would go wrestle there, right? And it's funny because it would be the same gimmick it would be the same 2 songs every time, both by what is the Up and Down, the Vega Boys, Vega Boys. It'd be those 2 songs that whoever, it didn't care, and the heels would come out and win. It was like there was like a stage or like a loft up above. The heels would come down one side, and then the faces would come down the other, and it would always be the same damn kid. He'd always go up there to the heel to like get to go and ask for an autograph, and every week he'd like the heel would like wipe it with his butt and then like throw it into the crowd and stuff. Like it'd be the same thing over and over again. But I think that was a lot of fun too. But as far as like the first match that I remember like vividly was that Hell in the Cell one.
Yeah, that's like the match you show your friends to like when they're shit talking wrestling. You say, "No, watch this," and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay. Well, wow.
Can't disagree with that. That was entertaining, if horrifying.
It was. It still is.
All right. So we're playing Worldwide Wrestling. A little bit different type of game. Not only in theme, but also we don't do a ton of narrative RPGs on the channel. We played like Kids on Bikes and Kids on Brooms in the past, but I feel like that's like a few years ago now that we have played something like that. So, hey Galaxian, are you running this under 3.5 grappling rules? No. So like the kind of where I'm going with that is that this is a narrative RPG, and there is not crunchiness to the rules. Everything is very much kind of improv, and so if you're looking to redeem things, I would say that you still can do that. If you redeem a player reroll, we'll give the characters more momentum, and momentum is sort of the fuel for a lot of the engine of the game. It allows the players to make some different moves, to take narrative control and make some different narrative choices. And ultimately, by the end of the game, they would like to convert their audience score to be higher. The way that you can do that is through generating heat with one another, putting on entertaining matches, and using some of their moves to potentially get more audience. I think what are you guys at right now? Total of 6 audience points. If they can get to 9 audience by the end of tonight's event, we will have the promotion will grow, and they might be able to unlock some different moves and things like that. So we did the session 0 last week. If you are curious to watch us fumble through those rules, you can go find it on YouTube. I don't know that it's altogether that probably entertaining, but you can find some other video of people that do a proper like rules breakdown if you're curious how the game gets played. But feel free to ask any questions as we go through this.
We'll fumble plenty tonight too.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
we'll still be asking questions tonight.
Yep, 100%.
We'll ask Dawson.
Yeah.
There is a worksheet that we're working off of that is pretty handy. It's a PDF that has kind of a breakdown of all of the moves and things like that. So we will be referring to that quite a bit. But I guess what we'll do to break things down, let's do a little bit of a recap. You guys can help me fill in the details here. But last week on our Worldwide Wrestling show. We had a number of matches that were put together by the promoter to kind of offer up contracts to the Wrestle to the Future promotion, the WTF promotion. Nikki Notion is sort of this influencer type. She runs the promotion, and she's got a big following on Twitch and online, but I would say the audience is kind of just stuck at kind of a static number, and she's trying to elevate the profile of the promotion. And so she brought in these 3 new characters, introduced them to the audience, and they won their matches to earn contracts to the WTF. And this week, she, at the end of that show, she had announced that this week there was going to be a Regal Wrangle, an event where in total 20 superstars, 20 participants would enter the ring and participate in a bout that would determine the number 1 contender for the WTF championship. So that's sort of the stakes. That's what the crowd is anticipating as we open things up. Galaxian says, I'll be disappointed if you guys don't work the mic in character with handheld mics. Oh, there will be plenty of that, I promise you. Because who's our tech guy? Donnie will be, for sure, once he's done setting up the ring, getting the camera and the lights all set up, and introduces the show, he'll be running back to maybe catch an interview or two. So where we begin, the lights dim. There's a packed crowd once again in the Alliant Energy Center, and a spotlight forms right in the middle of the ring. Camera is on. They are live and broadcasting on the Twitch channel, and we just hear Donald Kovitz's voice saying, "Welcome, it's Monday night. Thank you for joining us here on yet another episode of WTF Wrestling. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. Don't go anywhere. First, let us hear from the promotion's owner, Nikki Notion." And a spot of white light forms in the center stage, and there we see Nikki Notion. She's all glittered up, lots of makeup. Her hair is kind of this off-kilter, like a pink and orange kind of thing. She's wearing this really kind of almost tacky lime green blazer, and she is speaking into the mic, and she says, "Hello, Wrestle to the Future family. It's your girl, Nikki Notion here, and have I got news for you. Tonight, we're taking this to the next level. The energy, the excitement, the pure, unadulterated fun of wrestling, it's about to get a mega boost. Tonight we're hosting a special event that we call the Regal Wrangle." The crowd roars in approval. They know what this event is, and that is what they've come for. And she says, "This is our very own gladiatorial arena that will be displayed here in the ring, and our gladiators, we will meet them very soon. But first, we will hear from the tag team champions, and they will be putting their titles on the line. Just to show that I don't hold grudges, I'm going to give the graduates an opportunity to win the belts." And there's sort of like some booing and some hissing from the crowd. And she says, "Oh, yeah, I know. But that's not all. We're also going to have a match here in this very ring. Jackie D, the Jack of Hearts, will be defending his title against the Muse. You're in for a clash of titans, a spectacle of skill, power, and determination. It is a battle that you won't want to miss." And she ends her promo with the patented "We're Wrestling to the Future" tagline. as you see Danny is already packing up his camera, sliding through the bottom rope, and he is hustling his way backstage to catch up with Frugal Dougal, the pikeman. And he's huffing and he's puffing, but he grabs hold of you back near catering, and he's catching his breath, and he plugs a mic into the camera, and he holds it up to you, and he says, Frugal Dougal. Oh, you've got the prop mic. That's awesome. And he just says, Pikeman, what are your thoughts going into tonight's Regal Wrangle? Are you excited about the prospect of becoming the #1 champion?
Prospect? Thine talk to me of prospect? Pray tell.
You're a fan favorite. You've been here for 1 week. Tell us. The people want to hear from you, Frugal Dougal.
Nay. I shan't look for glory. I look to lay my legacy on thy line. You know, there is someone here. Someone that a good man that I've taken under my wing. Forsooth.
And the crowd, like you hear everyone like in the audience, forsooth.
The Ranger. Mine eyes see in him what I once was as a little lad. Unbalanced, undisciplined, but I see a sense of honor in his heart. But mine ears and eyes have seen something even worse. Some corruption. For he fought with the wicked, twisted, turd teeth Grimes. And I feel his moral compass in danger. I will see that I put an end to this Grimes once and for all. Forsooth.
And he shoves the mic back at you as he turns down his pike and starts sharpening it.
Donnie just takes back the mic. He's like, those are some tall words from the pikeman Frugal Dougal, and oh, what's this? And you just see approaching you is this maybe 5'11" figure, big foppish hat with a big feather in the cap, tights rolled up, a man with kind of long blonde hair, and he's carrying a harp. And he says, "Hello, good pikemen, do you not see the tides? For soon you will see that my champion rises. Regal Wrangle, a contest of might, but your journey, sir, ends here tonight." And then
he looks back and just sharpens his pike at him.
And he just like walks off stage with Donnie just hanging onto the mic, like looking for who he's supposed to be interviewing or talking with.
That tooth turd speak of, Donnie?
I don't know. I suppose we'll find out later on. But first, The tag team championships are on the line. And he starts like hustling his way back to the ring. Donnie, of course, is a one-man. He's the ring crew. He's the lighting. He's the camera. He's the commentary. He's everything. And so he makes his way to announce the tag team title match between the reigning champions, the Hall Directors, versus the Graduates, who we met last week. And they get announced. The Hall Directors come out, and they are their names are Dean the Enforcer Harmon and R.A. Rampage, and the two of them are dressed in polo shirts, and they both wear matching tights, and the belts around their waists. They have a very kind of regimented, very orderly walk down to the ring. And then, of course, we see the Graduates. Danny Masters is a more traditional build wrestler, and Legal Larry is a thin wrestler, balding a bit, but he wears traditional long pant tights. And the two of them are angling to win WTF Gold. The match starts with Dean Harmon and Danny Masters squaring off. Danny attempts to use his superior technical prowess to gain the upper hand, but Harmon counters with his power moves, using brute strength to keep Danny at bay. I guess at this time, as this match is underway, is there any moves or anything that we might be seeing from player wrestler? Or even just segments that might be playing out backstage? Give you a moment to think about that as the grueling exchange in the ring continues. There is a hot tag that is made, and Legal Larry and R.A. Rampage now face off in the ring. Larry attempts to pin R.A. early with a quick roll-up, but he kicks out. R.A. retaliates with an onslaught of German suplexes, each one getting a reaction from the crowd. They are calling out, "Hall rules!" A tag back to Harmon sees the Hall Directors utilizing quick tags and double-team tactics to keep Larry isolated. But just when it seems like Larry is in real trouble, he evades a double clothesline, diving to tag in Danny Masters. Or to tag in Masters. The climax of this match comes when the Graduates set up their finishing move, the Market Crash, on Dean Harmon. But R.A. Rampage manages to stop the pin attempt and tosses Larry out of the ring before hitting her finisher, the Room Inspection. The ref counts the successful pin attempt, and the crowd cheers. Donnie makes his way backstage. Apparently another interview segment is about to kick off. And we see Zach Grimes and the Ranger, both sort of set up maybe almost like opposed to one another. With Donnie is like right in the middle, and he's got the mic, he gets set up, and he says, "Guys, last week we saw the two of you put aside your differences and come back together as a team to earn yourselves contracts with WTF Promotions. Will we see the spirit of your former friendship play out tonight in the Regal Wrangle?"
Well, I don't know what the Ranger might think he's got on me. I don't know what the Ranger might think he's got on the rest of the promotion. You see, Ranger, in this ring, the only bounty that's worth chasing is me. And that puts you right where I want you. You say you're some bounty hunter. Let me tell the people about this bounty hunter, the Ranger. He's been trying to make it in all these mon pop promotions all around the US of A, thinking, oh man, I'm gonna make this a big big deal. I'm gonna provide for my family. I'm gonna show everybody I'm mom's big boy. But you know what? You know what? You've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for months. And I'm already way above anything this Ranger cat's trying to put out there. So no, there won't be any sort of friendship happening tonight at the Regal Wrangle. The Regal Wrangle will end with one Regal winner. It's your boy Grimes.
Those are some mighty dangerous words you're saying there, Grimes. But I don't seem to have my head on straight at this current point in time. But if I remember, didn't you lose your very first match? I mean, you got beaten by that schmuck, Frugal Dougal. Have nothing to say about that.
Oh, you're actually asking a serious question, are you? Well, let's see. Didn't I give us the win after being dropped on my head onto hundreds of thumbtacks that I brought to the ring? I'd like to see anybody else in this locker room do that. Anybody else.
And if I remember correctly, I believe that I was the one who scored the winning pin of our tag team match now, wasn't it? I see you crawling back to the corner, all by your lonesome, waiting for me. So, if you ask me, we'll see what happens tonight at the Regal Wrangle. Because by then, I'll be the only one left in, and hopefully, maybe you as well. And he walks off.
Yeah, you go run back to your daddy and their forsooths and your pikemen. You know what? Both of you, just like everybody here in Madison, Wisconsin, you're worthless. You're worthless. You got nothing going for you. Boy, trying to get some cheap heat.
Yeah, you got some cheap heat, so you get +1 momentum for naming the town that you're in and talking shit about it.
I'm gonna say, I don't know if I have to spend a momentum, but I'm gonna say like the camera zooms out, and like you would see like this cheap little kind of curtain, and like behind the curtain is just this tall like pike sticking out, and like the camera swings around, and goes and like looks at me, and I go, schmuck. What
Awesome.
does that mean?
You're getting a forsooth from the audience here, so that's great.
Questioning. Forsooth?
So, do the two of you, Ranger and Grimes, you had sort of like a competing promo, I guess. Like, do the two of you want to roll or cut a promo against each other?
Sure.
It's not,
I think
you're not
that
really
sounds wonderful.
not really rolling against each other, but you've got
Right.
some heat here. One of you is a face and one of you is a heel, right?
I think we're both heels.
Oh, you're both heels.
Oh,
currently.
yeah.
But you got some heat with one another, so you'll be able to do that. So it's a roll plus look, and then plus your heat that you have.
Plus the heat too. Okay. So I
Roll.
got more than.
So roll plus look plus heat. Correct?
Yes, I believe so.
So I got over 10.
6.
Okay. So, the intensity of Grimes' promo is what the audience was connecting with. So, we'll start with that. You got a 10. You get to pick 2 from the list there. You can either make creative book you in a match. You can add a stipulation to a relevant match. Or you get, I guess they can come out to respond to your promo. We kind of did that.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Why don't for this one we just say you pick 1, and then the
Sure,
fourth
that's
one
fine.
is gain +1 heat with the subject of your promo.
Yeah, I'll gain 1 heat.
Awesome. What does it put you at? With
3 heat
3.
with the Ranger, 2 with Frugal.
Cool.
Dougal.
And Ranger, you got a 6.
That sounds like a botched to me.
It doesn't connect. You gain 1 momentum, but
Still a win.
if anything, it has heated up your opponent, who the crowd a little bit wasn't super into Grimes after last week. It was only maybe through a little bit of the aura or the shine of Frugal Dougal that kind of Grimes has come along for this, but maybe you're feeling it out. This is a different promotion. You're starting to learn the quirks of the audience's tastes. And so with that, we can feel it. The next thing that is on the card is the Regal Wrangle.
Ooh.
And Donnie gets out to the middle of the ring. He's got the camera set up on the turnbuckle. We can see referee Jim Laybourne is out there. He's just this mammoth man wearing the WTF referee's jersey. His day job is that he is a psychology professor and the wrestling coach, and moonlights as a ref here for the WTF. And so Donnie is in the ring. The crowd is sort of that has a simmering sort of anticipation for what's about to happen as Donnie is going through the rules of the Regal Wrangle. 20 men shall enter this ring, and it will start with 2 participants, with 1 participant being added every 2 minutes thereafter. Entrant is eliminated when they have been tossed over the top ropes and both feet have touched the floor. And I see Jeff has redeemed a re-roll, so we will say that that is a point of momentum. You can let us know where you'd like to direct that. We'll add that to their momentum pool. And as he has settled on naming all of the rules and such, he begins to announce the first entrant. And he says, our first entrant making his way to the ring from Tombstone, Arizona, weighing 180 pounds, the Ranger Tom Kendall. And we hear, well, if I was better at producing my own stuff, I would have had your song playing already. There it is. And so, what do we see, Dawson, as you're announced and your theme music blasts through the Alliant Energy Center?
Got a little distracted there. But you'd see him dressed in his good old duster and 5-gallon hat, strolling his way down to the ring ever so slowly, in time with his music as little stirrups clang against solid concrete floors. So chink, chink, chink. Slowly climbs himself up and launches himself into the ring, ready to go.
The crowd seems to you don't get it's not a cold welcome. There's probably like half the audience is fairly enthusiastic about seeing you again this second week and seeing you enter into the ring. And just as you get settled in, with the jingle jangle of your spurs settling, we hear Donnie once again starting to announce. He says, and our second entrant making his way to the ring, blah, 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 blah. And he goes through all of this guy's details and he announces, Fireman Dan. And you see your opponent is a white fire helmet, guy with, he's got kind of like red leather pants and suspenders. And he's making his way to the ring. He's got this big hose that he has strapped to his shoulder. He does. And he's just waving to the crowd. He seems to like have, he's got, he's kind of like the favorite jobber, basically. And so enough people are cheering for him that it's going to be kind of a mixed crowd reaction once he rolls his way in. Donnie gets himself back on his headset and starts to begin to announce the match. And he's playing up at the beginning. He's talking up Tom Kendall and talking about how he's clearly very talented, but perhaps a novice in this style of match. He's, to his recollection, has never participated in a Regal Wrangle, and being in the number one spot, he's got a disadvantage as he will have to survive and outlast 19 other men. But we will now toss it over to Tom Kendall for Dawson to give us the narration of what is happening in the opening moments of the Regal Wrangle.
I think the first thing he's gonna do is not really like get to any techniques, but just like look at his opponent and just point at him like, this guy, this is who I'm going against out of everyone here. And he just kind of like dismisses him and just walks away and waits in the corner.
And as you do that, the crowd, there's a few boos and such. You're getting maybe some heel heat. We'll say that by doing that, if you wanted to, you could spend 2 momentum to pick one off the heel list. Heel move.
Could I argue for working the audience?
Working
to
the
feel
audience, yeah.
Like, fuck this guy. Like, come on, you're not even give us anything?
Yeah, roll the plus the audience.
I got 2 audience. Let's see how this goes. That would be 9 plus 2, so an 11.
An 11, big pop. In the form of heel heat. You're getting the boos that you wanted. And you can spend 1 momentum to gain +1 heat with your current or upcoming opponent.
I will stay with the upcoming opponent because who needs this Fireman Dan guy? Come on.
Yeah, so if you wanted it to be with Grimes or Pikeman, you could add +1 heat for one of them.
I will stay because I need to start balancing the scales of who I have heat with. I got 2 on Pikeman and 1 on Grimes. We need to get a little more action with Grimes, so we'll give Grimes the heat. So I think I give it to him or he gives it to me.
You get it. Yeah.
I get +1 heat with Grimes, so now I'm at a 2.
Awesome. Yeah, so you continue to maintain control of the narration.
I will say pretty much is like Fireman Dan tries to come in at me. I'm just gonna like do a side step out of the way, just like still not paying the any mind. And then as that's going on, pretty much everyone's booing me, and he gives the good old up yours to the audience, getting some little more of that cheap heat.
Awesome. And yeah, I think as you do that, like Fireman Dan is just like, he's just got that like sheepish kind of smile on his face, like, can you guys believe this guy? And he's kind of working the crowd himself a little bit. And he looks like he's like wanting to like lock up with you. Like he turns around and he's like trying to get you. He's like, come on. Commentary is just like, Tom Kendall, no respect for Fireman Dan. Apparently, he thinks that he should have had a more worthy opponent in the early goings of this contest.
I'll begin to lock up with him, going for the grab. And as we're doing a little talk back and forth, go for that good old classic headlock.
All right.
And start by pushing him into the ropes.
So he goes like flying off the ropes, and he comes like flying back at you.
And with that, we'll do a quick little, get a little more upper body strength into it. Like kind of grab him from up top and right underneath and just flip him over onto the mat.
Sounds good. Then as you've got him down on the ground, what would happen next?
Probably then start on to loosen him up a little bit, going for a nice little headlock on the ground, kind of straining the neck, do a little submission.
All right. I think at this point you've got him. Are you working towards trying to throw him over the top ropes, or are you going to play with him a bit more?
I like to play a little bit.
All right, so you've got him in the headlock, and he's like at your mercy, and you're looking at like the ramp, the entranceway, and you can see the countdown timer there is flashing, and we're about to see the next entrant into the Regal Wrangle. And you hear Grimes. What does Grimes's theme kind of sound like? Like, describe the sound or the style.
Sorry. So I I imagine that his theme song would be by Ice Nine Kills. So they are like a pop metal band, and all of their songs are themed around horror movies. Um, so it's like preppy kid, like horror music, preppy kid kind of goth sort of crossover. Um, so if you can think of like gosh, like A Day to Remember, like their heavier stuff, but with like more orchestral, sweeping, epic choruses and stuff.
So the way that Tom Kendall, the Ranger, has set this up, it's almost like he knew, he is anticipating. You had already sowed the seed of this rivalry, and he's got this other nobody locked up, and he's staring at the ramp as that music starts playing. And we get from Donnie, now making his way to the ring from Munster, Indiana, weighing in at 192 pounds, Zach Grimes.
So Grimes is like busting out. He's running. He's got his lacrosse stick. It's the Regal Wrangle, right? So he's doing it a little bit more. He's got it like dripping in like this red liquid that, fake blood or whatever. And he's got that also poured over his head. But it's kind of haphazard. Like, it doesn't look good. But you can kind of tell that like something's weird, and there's like a little bit of red on him. So just runs down the ramp, like slides in on the bottom, and pops up. And is Ranger still in control of the match?
Yeah, I was just thinking
Okay.
I have to look at like how to handle that. I think for the sake of the Regal Wrangle, we will say that if they're like when a player wrestler enters for the first time, that they have control. Because we'll have cycled you guys in like plenty soon enough here. So we just hear Donnie kind of like, I don't know where he's been, but it looks like he's already been in 3 fights already tonight, folks, and he's making his way. Grimes is in the ring.
So Grimes is gonna because right now you got him in a headlock. Is that right,
Yep.
Dawson?
Just staring at you.
Staring at me. So I'm gonna run in, and I want to do a crossbody over both of them in the headlock, and and be able to roll out of it and start running again. Do you need me to roll for a wrestling move, or like how? I guess
No, basically, when you're in control, like you can describe the entire sequence up until the point when you want to throw somebody out.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna bounce off the ropes and then run, and I'm gonna do like a what is it? Where you like flip back and you land on your back on them? Is that a senton? No, not a senton.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that's called. Like not a flip or anything, just like a boop. I'm jumping back.
Kind of like a moonsault.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you're landing on your back.
I'm just landing on my back. Yep. And then I'm gonna pull up Fireman Dan. And I am going to I'll do a sidewalk slam on top of Ranger, and then I'm gonna pick up Fireman Dan and try and just throw him over the top rope.
All right, so then you'll be doing I mean, it sounds like maybe just like roll a body.
Leverage. Yeah, I'd say it's probably body. That's a good call. Okay. Ooh, that's a 5.
A 5. So that will be. Oh, and by the way, you have +1 momentum from the audience.
Yeah, I did see that, and thank you, Rimlock, for that. So I'm gonna spend a momentum to stay in the ring.
Sounds good.
I need to do that on a botch for this, right?
Yep, it says on a botch, they were ready for you, and you get taken to the top rope. They take control of the match. You can spend 1 momentum to stay in the ring, or you get dumped out and take 1 heat with whomever dumped you.
One thing that I meant to say at the start of this, I'm not using this now, but I had a baked advance. And so I spent that on, it said pick another move from this gimmick or any other, including a move that increases a stat. So I'm taking Fighting Spirit from the Ace, which is essentially a free interrupt.
Oh, cool.
Once per match. And then if I do it against someone and I have a higher body score than them, I also gain 1 momentum. Not using it, but that's something that I have now.
Very cool. All right. So it sounds like basically narrative control is with creative right now. So Dan the dad, or Dan the dad,
Dan the dad,
Fireman
Hell
Dan.
yeah. I'll be down
Should I
for
bring
Dan
him?
the Dead as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's almost the same gimmick. He's got suspenders and such on. He just switched out his coffee cup for a fireman's hat. So he doesn't quite go over. He manages to kind of swivel his body underneath the ropes, and he's going to just kind of like sweep with his left arm under Grimes your legs and kind of trip you up. And I'm gonna say as he does this, he kind of backpedals to the corner turnbuckle, just kind of looking at Ranger. I'm gonna pass control back over to Dawson.
I look at him standing in the corner and Grimes on the ground already, disheveled from his wonderful ring entrance. And I go lock my eyes with Fireman Dan. And I'm gonna just start charging him in the corner.
As you start charging forward, he is he's slippery, so he's just going to kind of like swivel out of the way, and he's just like on his butt, kind of scooting, just scooting, and he scoots on over to like another turnbuckle over. And at this point, as this is happening, what do you do?
In response to him trying to flee from my grasp, that's really unfortunate. I want to attempt to try and launch myself off the ropes to catch him mid-escape and just try to kick him onto your side of the ropes as he's trying to swivel away.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe that would be a plus work, using your knowledge of leverage and ring awareness.
You got it. Let's see what we got here. That is not fantastic. That's a 4 + 3, so 7. So I barely scrape by.
So they don't quite go over. They're still in the match. You choose whether to hand them control of the match and take +1 momentum, or retain control of the match and pick the next entrant.
Oh.
And I get to pick the next entrant.
Yeah.
I will maintain control. And who else but the Pike Man himself coming onto stage?
So we hear Greensleeves playing. And Donnie gets on the mic and he says, making his way to the ring from 1590s England, weighing in at 230 pounds, the pikeman, and there's a loud forsooth from the audience. What do we see?
You would just see like it'd be darkness, and you just see like a, like a spark fly, then another spark fly, and then you'd see him stand up and hold his pike up high and go forsooth.
And the crowd reacts in kind. And
Okay.
I think
Okay.
because of the way that you got brought into this match, we'll say Dawson retains control just now because he used that ability to pull you in.
Okay.
As he's slowly starting to make his way into the ring with his whole boisterous attitude, I'm going to start by throwing Fireman Dan right towards Grimes. See how Grimes handles it. So kind of giving it to him.
So you passed control to me?
I pass control to you.
Oh,
So
snap.
Oh.
the comeback.
The
I
comeback.
think you
Yeah.
get you get momentum or something with that?
If I have 0, I get 1, but I have.
Oh,
I think
gotcha.
I already have 1 still. So I'm
I
just
see.
giving it to you.
Okay, cool.
Hey Alex, before we get any further, I gain a momentum as soon as I start a match. It's one of my
Awesome.
veteran skills.
You're at 3.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
All good. All right. So, and you threw the Dan the Dad at me, right?
Fireman Dan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So,
I wish it was him.
yep. So I'm gonna do a hip toss, and then I'm gonna grab his suspenders, and like kind of go around backwards and try and what am I trying to do? I think probably just pull him. I'm just gonna snap his suspenders as hard as I can. Ow! And then yeah, and then I'm gonna try and work the audience and tell them, you know, that's what you get. You get them snapped. You get your nipples popped. You get your suspenders tweaked. You get all the blood is on your hands. So, ooh, that's a 12.
That was a, what was it? Work the audience?
Work the audience.
They pop big. They're booing you. If you want, you can spend 1 momentum to gain +1 heat with your current or upcoming opponent.
I'll spend a momentum to get +1 heat against pikemen. So I've got 3 heat with Frugal Dougal and 3 with the Ranger right now. Then I'm gonna turn around because Frugal Dougal and the Ranger are coming in on me while I'm like working the crowd. So I'm gonna slip out of it. I'm gonna push them both into the ropes and then try and like German suplex both of them back.
Oh.
So do a double there. It's gonna look, you know, he's tall, but Grimes isn't the most athletic. Throws him back.
I
Rolls back
will
up.
help you sell this German suplex.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Is that
I
one
don't
of
know what
your...
No, but I think that lets you use heat if you want to, so I'm going to assist you in this endeavor. If you
Okay. Do I
how
need to
about that,
roll
Rep?
anything now though, or because it's just like I narrate until I'm ready to throw someone out? Is that right, or am I rolling for
help
something
too.
on this?
If we could all help, I would help him
I
as
think
well.
wrestling move is what wrestling's where if you work with your opponent to showcase an innovative or exciting maneuver that requires both of you to achieve roll heat with them.
But I thought the Regal
where-
Wrangle. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Where are you seeing that, Dustin? I just want to read it along.
In wrestling, the wrestling move.
The wrestling move. Okay. I'm just trying to think how that would work with the roll. So then I guess Grimes, I'm
not trying to throw him out. I'm just doing a suplex. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think probably we don't need to call for a ability until you're gonna do your roll for whatever you're narrating. When you narrate the conclusion of the.
Which should be trying to toss someone out. Is that correct? Because it says like this
Well,
move replaces the standard wrestling move.
Yeah,
For the Regal Wrangle?
let's just say for the sake of this one time, you're gonna do
Oh.
like a wrestling move, I guess, to pop the crowd, maybe.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll do that, and then so let's say after I do this, then I'm gonna hand off.
So it sounds like
that
you were kind of putting the emphasis on the strength part of it. So maybe it's a roll plus
Correct.
body plus your heat.
With both of them.
I guess this is where I get confused.
I think, Alex, the way I'm reading it is that you pretty much choose if you want. What I'm seeing is that you could do 3 different things. You could either
Oh yeah.
choose to use body, you could use work, or because we're not all of us are very strong, and we need to still be able to like lift. So I think that's where that heat comes in. The higher the heat, like
Yeah.
So it's
the easier it is to pull off like a body
instead
move.
of
Yeah,
than
yeah, I believe that's
Okay.
what that is.
gotcha.
So I could roll heat that I have with both of them, and then just forego any other modifier.
I
Is
guess
that what you're saying, Isaac?
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. It's either one. I think we're adding them all together.
That's
I
what it looks
think
like.
what I'm reading,
Yeah.
it looks like it's one or the other.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would I would always want to use heat for most of these
Right.
because it's stronger than most of my other stuff at this point.
Right.
I see. So are you not supposed to roll heat? Like, are you not supposed to add heat to your other moves?
That's what I'm reading here. I don't know if that's. Yeah, I think I'd leave that for you to decide.
I think
But-
that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
It's a team effort. It's heat.
That
If
makes
it's
more
by
sense.
if it's by yourself, you're doing your body or your work.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just scroll past this being a wrestling fan section in the rule book. Frickin' find heat. Oh my god. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. So I rolled a 6, but I have 6 heat total. So that's a 12.
Oh. That's another question I have for anybody that's
Okay.
read is, can heat go beyond +4? I think it caps, right?
When you wrestle someone, you have +4 heat with gain +1 audience.
Let me just see where that might be.
So many rules.
I think either way, like while that was happening, like when Frugal was trying to enter, like he would have tried to like hand off the pike to someone, but he was like kind of like pulled in to the match, and that's I think where he's both. I think he might like even be looking kind of at, just like filling time, like looking at the ranger as they're being like tossed, run towards like Grimes, and kind of giving him like a kind of confused look, almost trying to play into that like drama that was happening beforehand. And we go, oh, you think he'd be like, you think he's gonna pull this one off? I'm heavy, man.
Do it. I can do it.
You better do it soon. This is gonna suck. Don't pull your back out.
Careful.
We'll jump on 2.
Has anyone found it?
No.
That is my recollection, is that heat can only go up to +4 max.
4.
But
Okay. So I should just pick one person then, because I have 3 with each of them.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I got a 9.
A 9. So you keep their attention. You choose whether to hand control of the match to your opponent and gain +1 momentum, or retain control of the match.
I'll hand it off and gain 1 momentum. That works out perfectly.
All right. Am I correct in that you have 3?
I have 2 momentum
2.
now.
Okay. Cool. Who are you handing off to?
I'm going to hand off to Frugal Doodle.
Frugal Dougal steps through, and as he does, he I don't know. I think like meta wise, like non-kayfabe wise, it feels like maybe he's not getting all of it a bit. So he's gonna kind of have to like when he lands, he doesn't necessarily land like on his back, but he kind of rolls out into it, and ends up having to kind of like roll under. The rules are we have to go over the top rope, right?
When you end your sequence that you describe,
Yeah.
you would roll to see if you throw somebody over, like you choose who you want out.
Okay, I think Frugal Dougal would roll in the ring and kind of stand while maybe or like stand like kind of a bit more like in control as the ranger kind of fell onto his back. He would stand up and look back at Grimes with just like disgust and hate, and he would just point and say, "Turn in your teeth, boy! Turn in your teeth!" And he'd go and back up, and he'd like do a running like thing to you to grab you, kind of do a twirl around and try to knock you into the rope to send you back. And as he does, he's gonna do like this move where he like pretends he has his pike, like he goes into like a stance, like to like almost like your cavalry coming at him, and he's gonna just hold up his fist like holding it up high, so that as you come, like you charge into his fist and like take a blow to it.
Ouch.
And I think I'm even at this point, like I'm doing it. I'm gonna turn it over to you to say whether or not what you do with that. He's standing there, and you have a little bit of time as I'm standing there, kind of like ready to hit you.
Yeah, I'd sell it. I'd hit it and flip ass over tea kettle.
All
Do you want
right.
me to keep rolling, or do you just wanted me to give that move?
I would say as soon as I did it, I would turn it over to you. You turn it back over to me after that roll, and I don't know, whenever we have to roll, let us know.
Well, you're the describing.
I
I'm not refereeing that. Like you get to say as much of the sequence as you want.
Oh,
and
I understand.
You decide when you're done.
Okay, I'm gonna say, you go, ass over kettle, like you said, and you sell it pretty well. And then I look over to you, and kind of just shake my head, and I'm gonna attempt to look like I'm gonna just like I try to pick you up and just like toss you out of the ring. But what I'm actually doing is I'm gonna show. Actually, you know what? He's gonna look at you kind of with disgust, and he's gonna turn his back to you, almost like he doesn't want to throw you out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually rolling a put you over, where I show a bit of vulnerability. And if I succeed, then we both get an audience. But if I fail, then
Oh.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm not gonna throw you over, but I'm gonna like turn my back to you because you're down on the floor. So
Which one is this?
there we go. This is for the veteran. This is called.
Okay, it's one of yours.
It's one of my things. It's called put 'em over. So a work. Get to roll a work. And I got a 9.
All right. What is the outcome of that one?
Let's see. 9. One of you gains an audience, the other one loses an audience. Your opponent's choice.
Your
So,
opponent's
Oh.
choice.
Mm-hmm.
because the interesting
So-
thing is, if you hit if you hit 0 audience for the first time in an episode,
I get an advancement.
you get an advancement.
Yeah.
You don't want to be at the end of the episode. You don't want 0 audience, but
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you get to choose who ends up looking good because of this move.
What's your audience at?
I'm at 3 right now.
You're at 3?
Yeah.
and if
So-
if he gets to 4, then you would be he'd be in the top spot. He'd get the top spot.
Oh, 4 is the top spot?
Yeah, once he hits 4
There's one up
audience,
Oh. Sure, let's do that. I'll go down 1. So I'm at 0, and I've got another advance.
I think it's at
Nice.
the end of the episode, but that could be big to have somebody that has achieved the top spot.
Okay.
So,
So how would that look as I turn kind of and like not throw you over? What would you do to?
I think I would get up, and I'd spit on your back as you're walking away.
And instead, I think, and then instead of like reacting, I would just look at you and shake my head and continue walking to like maybe like Dan, the dad, or Dan the firefighter. Like not even give you that importance.
Donnie
Yeah,
is
Grimes would be throwing a tantrum in the corner.
Donnie's on commentary, just like, well, the disrespect of this guy. First he beats up a public servant, and now this. He's gone too far. And I think Isaac, you retain control.
And at this point, I'm gonna say that as I'm looking over to maybe square up with Dan, the firefighter. I'm sorry. I'd say maybe I get like cold cocked, and I'm gonna relinquish the control over to Dawson to Tom Kendall, the Ranger.
And as you do that, the countdown timer has just clicked down, and we've got now a 5th entrant into the match. And you hear Donnie announce the entrance, and you see the guy at the top of the ring. He's bare-chested, full of tattoos. He's got some nipple piercings, black leather pants, but he's just wearing this massive, like, mask. Mask isn't really like the right word. Like, it is a full-on like helmet that looks like a minotaur, like kind of get up. Big horns, big ring through the nose, and he's coming down to the ring, and Donnie announces, introducing next, Marcus Bellows, the Minotaur, and he kind of does like a little like scoff of the feet, and then charge to the ring and just dives right in under the bottom ropes, and he's in the ring now as well.
As soon as he gets in the ring, and well, what you don't really feel, I'd say, Mr. Frugal isn't really a hit, but more of a foot launching off of you. And as this Minotaur-looking fella comes in, it's just gonna be like, I think the move's called an Anzigiri, where he just kicks him right in the head, sends him right over the ropes, or his goal is to.
Yeah.
This is to which the Minotaur?
The Minotaur.
Yep. All right. Go ahead and roll probably the work.
You got it. Get this clown out of here. This is called cattle wrestling, if you ask me. That would be an 8.
All right. And with an 8.
They don't quite go over and are still in the match. Choose whether to hand them control of the match and take momentum, or retain control of the match and pick the next entrant.
Which would you like?
I mean, I need to get some momentum up, so I will do that. I will give them control and take 1 momentum.
All right. So Minotaur, like his horn kind of gets like snagged on the rope, and like he flips over, but his head is kind of hanging by the ropes, and is like the thing that maybe delayed him going over. He pulls himself back up after the enziguri, wraps himself back into the ring, and he is going to just blindly start charging, and he tries to go for a spear against Grimes. What I'll hand control back to you to narrate the scene from there. So he's just charging.
Me?
He's going for a spear against Grimes.
All right. So he's going for a spear. Grimes is going to counter it into a DDT because it's a big old bullhead and he's not charging all that fast. So he's able to turn that into a DDT. And at this point, Grimes is just fed up. So he's just stomping, kicks on this bull guy. And then he picks him up, whips him into the ropes, and points at the Ranger, and then like up and over for them to like do a double shoulder lift to get this guy the hell out of the ring.
He comes over.
Hell yeah.
All right.
So that's an 11.
11. Sorry, I never got myself back to the description, but I would imagine that he goes over. But what else? What other?
It says
benefits?
the crowd pops, retain control of the match, and take 1 momentum. Choose whether they are eliminated or they stay in the match because the next entrant enters the ring. You choose the entrant. I would say they are eliminated.
All right, so we have our first elimination. The crowd goes wild, and you can hear Donnie say, "That's the first elimination of the match. We just saw it. Could it be? Could the Dream Team be coming back together? They had some big words for each other backstage, but now it looks like they're on the same page."
How many entrants so far? We're on 5.
That was number 5.
Okay, so
3
how's
and
the bull-
Man Dan.
yeah. Okay, so now I point.
Fireman.
Or wait, actually, the Ranger points to Dan the Dad, Fireman Dan, and we both run at him, and we both do like a simultaneous shoulder charge. He knocks down, he gets back up, chooses to go against the ropes to try and go with a double clothesline. We both duck, we turn around, and we're ready to do the same exact thing to him on the perpendicular axis of the ring.
I'm in.
That's a 14.
Oh, nice.
Crowd pops, retain control of the match, and take +1 momentum.
And you just threw out Fireman Dan?
We just threw out Fireman Dan.
And this is the Dream Team is still working together?
Dream Team's still working together, baby.
All right. So you throw him out, and so then you gain the benefit of +1 momentum.
Yep.
You're at 4 now,
And
right?
I'm at 4 now. I'm coming to a close on my turn. So we've done that. We're looking at each other, and I point to the pikeman.
And I think
And then I look at the pikeman, and I spit in his general direction again. And I now hand control over to Dawson.
all right. So as you hand control over to Dawson, we just hear the sound of like a hammer on an anvil. And it's bringing forth this kind of really slow moving kind of bluegrass music that plays, and the man that is standing at the top of the stage is introduced as Ironclad Steel. He's bald, big black bushy eyebrows, and he's got in his hands like a blacksmith's hammer. He wears an apron that he's like coming down to the ring, and very slowly. Like, he might not even be in the ring by the time as Isaac picks up the narration here. Real quick, thank you, Corey, for the subscription. 50 months in a row. Appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Very good.
Dawson.
I believe it
picks
was
up the
Dawson.
narr- Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dawson, okay.
I want Dawson to choose.
I start to walk towards the center of the ring. I don't immediately go charging. but I look at both of them. One, a former mentor of mine, or a current mentor, I should say, and one, my former best friend and tag team partner.
Interrupt. I'm gonna do an interrupt. So as you're walking to the center of the ring, your back's turned to me. I run up behind you and I grab the nape of your neck and your trunks and I go to throw you over the ropes.
Oh. So this is a.
Interrupt!
Is that a? Oh no!
I'm gonna try to fight you to keep him
Oh
in.
man!
All right,
Oh,
so
we both
It's yours.
lost
So
them.
you're in the control then, yeah.
so Isaac is spending 1 momentum.
I also spent a momentum for my interrupt.
Okay.
So I as you go and I bring him down and I kind of pat kind of the ranger on the back, and then I look and then I just like, and I look over to Grimes and I shake my head. Turn in your teeth, boy. Turn in your teeth. And I turn my back to the ranger, like, you know, and I go and I look and I just go like barreling down. And I'm going to get and I'm going to just go for Grimes. And I go and I like dive forward, and I'm gonna say that Grimes question before I continue. Am I currently in the top spot? Like, am I now in the top spot? Have I achieved top spot? Or is it after?
Let me take a look.
Either way, I'm gonna go forward and I'm gonna dive. I'm gonna dive at Grimes, like just with like rage, just like a kind of like a grab. And I'm gonna say that Grimes, you're able to do the what is it called? I think you did it already. Actually, no. I'll say that you actually just like kind of step aside and just trip me onto the ground, and I look back at you like prone. And I think you attempt to pick me up and throw, and we're still gonna do this, right? And you're gonna throw me back at the ranger. And I'm going forward towards the ranger.
Interrupt
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
as their back is facing towards me. All the good old-fashioned pikeman can feel is 2 boots pressed against his back as he, getting knocked forward, accidentally bumps into Grimes, who is might or might not get accidentally thrown over. I'm gonna use my good old-fashioned buddy as a method to throw Grimes over to the ropes.
Oh man.
All
That will
right.
cost me 1 momentum to interrupt, so I'm back down to 2.
Down to 2. Okay. I'm going to say you're not in the top spot until the top of the episode in which you would have it.
Okay.
That's what
good.
that's what the sheet says, so.
I'm gonna
I'll
use
attempt- Go ahead.
fighting spirit for a free interrupt to prevent said elimination. What's your body stat,
0.
bro? Mine's 0 too. Okay. um, so, I'm gonna kind of like weasel out of it, and look at is it the blacksmith? What's his name?
Yes, his name is Ironclad Steel.
Ironclad Steel. I'm gonna like beckon him up. You said that he's got something that he's clanging.
Yeah, well, he's got a hammer. His theme music
got a hammer?
is a ringing anvil, but he's got a
Yeah.
hammer that he brings down to the ring with him.
Okay, I'm gonna ask him for the hammer. I'm gonna take that hammer and I'm gonna like pound my own face. And I'm gonna say, "You want a tooth? You want a tooth? Come and get it." I'm just gonna bang, 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 bang in my own face. My cheek starts bleeding. And I just like discard the hammer down the side of the ring, and point at the blacksmith to go after them. We then do a double clothesline, turn around. Blacksmith is going into the center of the ring, and I do the same thing. I grab him by the nape of the neck, grab his trunks, and go to eject him from the ring.
Okay, sounds good.
That would be, and I'd say that's probably a body one, right?
Body, sure.
Or a word? Yeah, okay. So that would be a 9. I would say I'm gonna hand them control and take a momentum.
You're at 4
So now back to
momentum.
4. Yeah.
Gotcha. So at this point, like there was a lot that was happening there. We're gonna say there have been 2 participants that have entered into the ring at this point, which is significant because there's a tag team that is in the match now. Legal Larry and now Danny Masters, the Graduates. They had lost their match previously in the night, and Donnie is on, just going wild. And he's like, "The Graduates are here. They've been robbed. I'm sure that they feel that they've been robbed of tag team gold, and now they are here to compete, try to get the top spot in the company." And there is history here, folks. There is history because they were just in a match last week with Grimes and the Ranger. And that alliance seems to have fallen through here tonight. These 2, you can bet your top dollar that they are unified and will be working together throughout this match. Smart. Very smart. And they're probably like, they're working on all the jobbers while you guys are all, working on each other. And then you had just passed control to
to creative, essentially.
Oh, to creative. Okay. Yeah, so the 2 of them are in the ring. And that's essentially what they are doing. Probably a lot of double clotheslines, a lot of like popping people up for stunners. And I would say in general they're kind of riding high a bit as we see another entrant come into the ring, Anthony Strokes.
Tony Strokes.
Tony Strokes. And then, so just to recap who's all in the ring currently, we have, I believe, 7 participants. Grimes, the Ranger, Legal Larry, Pikeman, Ironclad Steel, Danny Masters, and Tony Strokes are all in the ring. And I will pass control then, with the Graduates in control, we're going to pass it over to Isaac to take control.
Okay. I'm gonna say that while things are kind of going on, maybe I think with Grimes might like end up kind of going up against one of the other former tag teamers, or like we'll say like the lawyer Larry or whatever. He's kind of wrestling on the side, and I'd say that the Ranger and myself are kind of in the center. And I sit there and I look at him, and I go,
Remember! Fall in, pikemen! Fall in!
and I'll be like yelling at you to fall in line. Now I'm gonna let you say whether, because I don't want to, I'm so used to, I don't want to do that. But would your character, like just maybe from just being like trained so much for so long, would he fall in line? He'd be pretty much asking you to do like a double move on somebody.
Looks around him, seeing him surrounded by so much opposition, and knowing his odds are definitely now against him at this point. He turns and looks at you and gives a slight nod.
All right, he would go and kind of give like a smile and look back and go, advance pike, and like you would know, like we practiced this like in the back a while ago, and you would both like pretend like we have pikes, and you just kind of stand like at attention, slow pike, and we both like in unison do like this fancy thing, forward, and we just both start walking like side to side, just walking like in unison, and we're gonna say that it's gonna be the blacksmith that is there, and we both at the same time go forward and rush forward, and then we both like with our forearms like charge and just like try to like both at the same time like knock him over with our forearms.
Sounds good. Go ahead and make the roll to see if you toss him out.
Okay. And just for clarification, let's see. It has to be a body, or could it be like a momentum work thing?
Could be a body. It could be a work.
I'm gonna say it's a work. I'm gonna say like we're gonna just both like kind of leverage him over.
You can also, if you have good heat with Ranger, you could choose to do that instead too. It says if you team up with someone else, roll heat with the wrestler who helps you.
Okay, I think we might do that, even though I'm not necessarily doing it against him.
It doesn't matter.
It says your team up.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe that we are at actually let me see. We're at 2. So either way, we're gonna. Well, I'll say it's heat just because we're working together. All right, here we go. Let's see. A 9. So with that, I believe doesn't quite get over. Still in the match. To hand them control, or take 1 momentum and retain control. I'm gonna say that I am going to retain control. And the next person, I guess there's another person coming to the ring at this point.
Yeah, did you have someone that you wanted to name, or someone that you know?
I'm gonna say the bard. I'm gonna say the bard guy. He was talking about somebody.
Oh, yes, you want that to happen. All right. So, just to kind of narrate what maybe Legal Larry and Danny Masters, we're going to say that they've thrown a couple of the jobbers. Like, there's been some people that have come in, and they've been kind of dominating, like, the other half of the ring. And so, Anthony Strokes is gone. Hank Mason is gone. And then you guys just threw over Ironclad Steel.
Nope, he's still in it.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't a succeed.
Yeah.
It wasn't a succeed. Okay. Yep, you're right. But yes, so you hear it gets quiet, and like there's like sort of like this like stringed instrument is playing, and it's like this harp sound. It gets like dark, like all the lights go dim. And there's just like this feeling of anticipation on the air. Nobody knows who this is, but that little bard character with the foppish hat comes out. He's plucking away at this harp, and he's singing. And he says, "Rise, oh rise, my fallen, for the battle to come. To the beat of the drum, to the warriors hum. Tonight, it is young, the stage is bright. May the darkness, the beast, win out the fight." And then there's like this organ music that plays, and you just see this mammoth man, 7 feet tall, wearing a bucket helm, and he's just got like this black armor that he just slowly like comes out, and there's like pyrotechnics are firing off like. They spared no expense on this debut for this character. And so he's just like ripping like metal off of his body until he's just got like the one spiked pauldron on. And Donnie's on the mic, and he's just like, now announcing, making his way to the ring, Sir Arthur Soul Cleaver, the fallen paladin. And he gets up on the ring and he just like over the top, you know, like the big leg right over the top rope, makes his way in. And then he just like kind of moves up to Pikeman and like stares down at you. Welcome in, Goblin Cave TV. Thanks for, we appreciate the preemptive raid. We'll see you in a second.
Hell yeah.
Let us know.
Oh, they didn't cut the. They didn't cut the budget for this guy. Holy shit!
Okay. Well, Grimes, what was your first name again?
Zach.
Zach. I hope you've been paying attention because I'm gonna. We're gonna do a, you know, little Mickey Mouse thing, and he's gonna go. Punkman, assemble! And he's gonna try to get everyone on his side, like in, like formation against this giant, like mammoth of a guy. So I don't know who's left. It would be.
It's Grimes, the Ranger, the Graduates, Ironclad Steel.
Ironclad.
Yep.
And I think he's gonna look over to you, Sergeant. Get the men ready. And he's gonna look over to Dawson, to Ranger. Forsooth! And he looks over to the rest of the people, kind of just like, and he's gonna. I think I might turn it over to the Ranger at this point, as he's attempting to try to get like everyone to work in unison to get this guy out of here.
I think. I mean, he's pretty tired at this point. He's been going since number 1. I think he would just go off and do his own thing and like just goes charge, not waiting for everyone else, and like go for the tackle. But boy, this guy is tough and heavy.
Now, let me just step in and kind of recontextualize. Like, when you have control, you don't have to just narrate yourself. Like,
Okay.
you're the puppet master of the scene at that point. So you can play with all these pieces however you want to create maximum drama.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. If you want, go back to you, Isaac, or
No. Go ahead. You have it.
I just want it to be like Pikeman's thing is starting to work as everyone's like super realizing that this guy is a dangerous threat. Everyone forms up. The Ranger goes forward, tries to get the drop on him, doesn't work. Pretty much, he just picks him up, throws him at the rest of the group, and just bowling pins. People are falling over. It's bad. It's not great.
So this is the fallen paladin like tossing.
Yes.
Okay, so he's doing the cane thing and he's kind of just stomping right now, and you can hear like Donnie is just like, and the crowd's going crazy. They're just like, we've never seen anything like this in WTF wrestling before. Look at this man. He's a monster. Who's going to be able to throw him over the top rope?
So while I'd say he's going off and just wrecking somebody, I'm going to take the opportunity to try to, as one of the, let's say the Ironclad fella, the blacksmith, as he's slowly trying to get himself up in the ring, he's just going to just like, he's also trying to recover from it, but just like slowly just pushes him over, just like go and like pulls the ring, the ropes just down a little too far, so he actually tumbles over while he's trying to get up.
All right, so you're going to make a move.
That's right. Trying to get out Ironclad. You want body work? Anything particular?
Maybe work.
We got it. We gotta get someone out. That is a 13.
13. So
Hell yeah.
he gets tossed out, and then what is the other benefit to that?
Let's see. I
Get one
retain control of the
momentum.
match and 1 momentum.
So you're up to 3.
I believe that is correct.
And the other
And
thing
Alex
is, don't forget you can spend momentum too, like to add pluses to your rolls.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
That part I did
While
not
you're doing
know.
While you're doing that,
Know
can
that.
you add a momentum for me for passing it over?
Yes,
Dawson?
you're at 3.
Thank you.
And
then
Dawson, it's up to you on whether or not they actually get eliminated or not.
Yes, they are eliminated.
you see him go flying over as you help him with that. He goes diving over and both feet slamming into the ground. Frustration in the look of Ironclad as he picks himself up. He's going to go and find his hammer and grab that. And Donnie's just on the mic. It's back to the smithy with you. And then you
Bear. Go ahead.
you retain control, right? And then do you get to you get to name who comes into the ring? The next opponent?
Or no, if they stay in the ring, then you can choose. Well, actually, it's a separate sentence. Maybe it means it says choose whether they are eliminated or they stay in the match because the next entrant enters the ring.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, okay.
Okay.
Nope, never mind.
So I am going to say that another entrant. So thank you, Goblin Cave TV. We appreciate that raid. Give you a shout out here. Let us know what you guys were playing. Tonight we're playing Worldwide Wrestling. It's a narrative TTRPG built around pro wrestling. A number of us are wrestling fans, and so we thought we'd check this one out and give it a playthrough. So thank you so much for the raid. So all of a sudden, like the buzzer goes off again, and Jim Laybourne is in the ring, the wrestling coach, and he looks over at Donnie and just gives him a nod as he takes off the wrestling, the ref shirt, and he tosses it at Donnie, and it like hits the camera, and Donnie's like, "You've got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me!" So good.
Oh, that's so good.
And you see Donnie like puts the ref, and he's just like cursing. He's like, this flippin' company, I tell you what, people, support the Patreon so we can hire a production assistant or something. And then Jim Laybourne is a pretty big man too, and I think maybe like him and like he's not as tall as Sir Arthur Soulcleaver, but he's probably like, in comparison to everyone else, like maybe like the second or third largest in the room, and like the two of them like kind of meet up in the middle of the ring and are just staring at each other. I believe it is still Dawson's control.
As he's slowly recovering, get up. He's in the back corner of the to the turnbuckles, just like exhausted. And I think along comes the one of the graduates, the big guy he set off against the first time,
Danny Masters.
Danny Masters. I think he's just gonna start wailing on the Ranger in the corner, just taking his opportunity, beating him down. And then as he's getting beaten down, he's reaching out, he's looking for someone. There's gotta be someone there. And just a little over there, about 10 feet on the other side of the ring, is Grimes. He's calling for you.
All right, so it sounds like Grimes, there's a pleading look on the Ranger's face. He's looking at you to help him. He's getting beat up. Maybe even, Danny Masters is beating up on Tom Kendall, the Ranger. But then Legal Larry is there too. Like they're still doing like they're just like stomping a mud hole in him.
So am I now in control? Is that a handoff or?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you're looking for. Sorry, I was getting a beer and I missed the last piece before you hand it off.
I'm getting destroyed in the corner by the tag team.
By the tag team. Okay. So I'm gonna go over and start adding to that. I'm gonna start kicking you with that tag team to try and get them into it. And like I'm looking at them and I'm nodding and they're looking at me and they're nodding and yeah. And then as they're like really laying into them, I back out and I'm gonna try and like scoop underneath both of them. So first I'm gonna do a quick one for a low blow, and then I'm gonna scoop up again and like just try and lift them both over at the same time, shoop, over the edge of the turnbuckle to throw them out.
Sure.
So that's definitely a body one, I would think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that's an 8. I'm gonna burn 2 momentum to make that a 10.
Boost it. So you put over your deception works, and you manage to throw over both the graduates, and they fall. Well, I'm assuming you're gonna select to have them tumble out.
Yes, they are both out. Legal Larry and Danny Masters are out of the match.
And as they tumble out, like the crowd is going nuts, and they're starting to starting to cheer. I don't remember if you guys like had a tag team name or whatever like back in the day, but like the crowd might be like chanting for that. Like they're liking in this moment that alliance, and there's a few of those fans in the audience that remember that. And Danny Masters and Legal Larry are they weren't too beat up. It's just that you got the better of them, and they're looking up, and they're pissed, and they're like grabbing chairs, and they're like, "You son of a bitch! We won't forget this. We won't forget this. We'll be seeing you. We will be seeing you again." And they're just like, Donnie is like, "Come on, guys, you gotta get out of here. You gotta get out of here. I got too much going on. Back to the locker room."
Happening, Grimes is like rubbing the blood off his cheek from when he like smashed a hole in it with his, and he's blowing them kisses with his blood to try and like spray blood on their face. And then I will then like look back down at the Ranger, and I'll give him one more kick for good measure, and then turn around. And this is just to be aware of the rules. It's top rope only, right? So similar to other massive matches,
rumbles.
I could roll under it.
Yes.
And still be okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna roll under the ring, and I'm gonna start looking.
Okay.
So Grimes is looking for shit. Meanwhile, Pikeman goes over and actually helps Ranger up, gives him a pat on the back, gives him an attaboy, you'll be all right, dusts it off. And they both turn their attention to the two behemoths that are still in the ring, Soul Cleaver and Jim Laybourne. And all four of them are just kind of like eyeing each other up, sort of like, a standoff. At which point, Jim Laybourne's like, "Screw this, you guys are waiting too long." And he just goes after Soul Cleaver. So then Pikeman and the Ranger join in, and they're all just trying to beat him. And Soul Cleaver just goes boom, like one by one, hits them off the top of the head, and then they like all kind of fly back. And they're all kind of on the ground while Soul Cleaver's just like staring over them. Grimes like finally emerges from underneath the ring, climbs back up. He's got something in his hand, but people aren't quite sure what. And he goes over to Pikeman, and you can see now that it's pliers. So he grabs the pliers, and he goes in to grab teeth from Pikeman. And they're struggling. He's not really grabbing teeth, but there's the struggle going on. At which point the Soul Cleaver comes over and grabs Grimes and like does like the spin to like get him ready to go over the rope, and spins too far. So Grimes doesn't go over the rope, but rather just kind of like ricochets and hits him. And Pikeman's right, who's a big guy, Pikeman's right behind him, and that causes him to like stumble over and like hit the ropes. At which point Ranger, Grimes, Pikeman, and Jim Laybourne are trying to get Soul Cleaver out of the ring, with what you typically see when like everybody's ganging up, that it never works. This time it's gonna work.
All right,
they're gonna subvert expectations and actually just gonna be like, whoop, we're gonna do this thing that everyone expects them to do.
Donnie is dropping like an Isaac Yankum reference on commentary, and he's just like, "Oh my god, could it be?"
So, all right. So I'm gonna roll with Frugal's heat, Frugal Dougal's heat. Oh fuck! So that's a 6. I'm gonna. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna burn 1 momentum, so I'm down to 2 to make it a 7. They don't quite go over. And I'm gonna take that momentum back, and I'm gonna hand control of the match back to creative.
All right. So at this point,
Interrupt. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, Pikeman! No, we must push, and we're gonna attempt again to like push him over once more.
all right, spending a momentum. You're down to
I'm gonna-
2.
Yeah, we're gonna use this heat, either one. So that is a 10.
Ooh, yeah.
That's okay? So I think all of us all together, like I'm looking, Sergeant, get the pushing, and he's just like shaking his head, like. And I go and I look at him, and I look at I'd be looking at Grimes, and I just kind of shake my head at him, and we're all just pushing and looking like into each other's eyes, and meanwhile like this giant behemoth is like, and finally we like the top rope just totally like bends down to like the third, like the bottom rope, as it just like just throws and like it just springs up as he falls over and finally like lands, and we all just sit there like extremely like tired, and for a moment like it seems like we were looking at each other and kind of shaking our heads, but then I'm gonna say, who did you say was left? The two other people were
It's just us and Jim Laybourne, I think. The ref.
Jim Lahorn. Oh, that's right. Jim Lahorn. I think at this point, I think Frugal Dougal's had enough, and he's gonna go and reach over to. He's gonna reach over to Grimes, and be like, "Hey, I don't know, like, I'm sensing the crowd, man. We need to get you going somehow. You got anything?"
You really like? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's telling you that, like.
I got a false tooth from a lacrosse accident. I'm gonna rip it out and give it to you because you're asking for my teeth.
All right. And I'm gonna say, you're gonna send me over this fucking rope right now. We gotta get you back into it.
Oh,
He's
wow.
gonna say, "You ready?"
I'm ready.
And I don't know. I really don't. I don't have anything, but I don't know if anyone else has anything to give him an audience. But either way. I'm gonna attempt to. I'm gonna act like as you do that. I'm gonna say that Grimes goes and has the pliers still in his hand, and just goes and like, boom, and just like uses the thing. And as you do, like you have the fake tooth, right? And it just goes like flying, and as I like go back, I'm covering my mouth, and you go for like a sweet, and I mean I'm actually doing it, so and you do like a sweet ass like drop kick that just sends me like flying over the top rope, and like I fall back.
Oh man.
At that point, I think I'm just gonna hand the momentum over to you. I'll take a momentum
control,
and I'll hand it over back to you, Grimes.
All right. So Grimes. Grimes then.
Before you do that,
Hmm?
some in the midst of this sequence that is happening, with the teeth, this organ music plays a little bit different, maybe a little bit more faster paced than than Sir Arthur's, but there's another wrestler that gets introduced, and he's got like a luchador mask on, and it's sort of black and red in coloration, and like the mouth of this mask is designed as such that it looks like almost like vampiric teeth, like fangs are like designed into it. Like red eyes are like kind of the eye holes in the mask, kind of like these big pointy ears, as he is introduced as Nosferatu. And he goes and he does like a flippy move like right over the top rope, and he's doing some like cartwheels and flips as he is playing it up to the crowd.
So as he's doing that flip, Ranger is going to lay him out, just with a big ol' right hand. Jim Laybourne's then going to do a splash right on him. And then Jim's going to pick him up and throw him into the corner. And then we'll run into him with a big old bear hug. At which point he'll like stumble out to the middle, and Grimes is going to do the old back of the neck trunks, throw him over the top rope.
All right.
Let's see. That would be a 9. I'll spend a momentum to make that a 10.
All right. And Donnie's on commentary saying something like, well, they say he's a vampire. Let's see if he can fly. Oh, he goes a splat on the ground, hitting the hard concrete. Goodbye, Nosferatu.
So as he went over, he lost one of the horns in the ring. So Grimes is going to grab that horn and like scrape it over his forehead to make himself start bleeding. And this is going to be a "Are you not entertained?" Ooh. So whenever I suffer a gross injury, I can roll plus real, and on a 10 I can get momentum and pick something, and 7 and 9 I can pick something. So I'm gonna try and get my audience back here. I did not. Okay, so that's a 5. Minus 1 is a 4. Shoot. Well, that's a botch. Just straight up botch. They're not entertained. Lose 1 audience, so I'm still at 0. But I get a momentum. So
momentum.
That's a thing.
You're realizing that maybe you're realizing maybe in your eagerness that this was a fan favorite that was expected to at least get a little bit of offense off in like the minute that they were in the match, and you just went a little too eager and like threw them out and everything like that, and now the crowd is just like hateful, fuck you, like get out of the ring.
So now Grimes is like standing, like facing essentially like 2 feet from the rope, facing outside. What's his name? Jim Laybourne is like in the corner after doing like the splash, and the Ranger is just like right behind Grimes. As Grimes is like still trying to sell this blood thing. And I will hand it off to Dawson.
Can I interrupt real quick? And am I able to maybe well, I guess it really wouldn't have mattered that botch, right? Because you don't have anything anyway. Like you're already at does it go -1 or is it just?
No, I think it just sits at 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still have the banked advance, so like worst case scenario, I just spend that towards the end of the episode, and I'd have 1. I'll be fine.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, Dawson.
I think while that whole debacle is going on in the corner, in the other corner, it's me and that good. What was his name again? It was Jerry something.
Jim
The-
Claiborne.
Jim Claiborne. Hey Claiborne, man, he may not be as good as he was back in his youth, but he's got some heavy haymakers, heavy hits. So it's just like he's going good old boxing. It's like jab, jab. And it's like it's rocking him back, rocking him back, rocking him back at every moment. And it would set up for him the opportunity, I believe, to try and pump himself back up as like he's getting rocked to the corner, rocked to the corner. He's leaning on the ropes. It's looking bad. And then he just springs himself up and start going in with the shoulder tackle. Try to push him, get him to the corner. And then he's going to attempt to do an athletic feat
Ooh.
as a maneuver and attempt to German suplex this very heavy man right
All
over
right.
him.
All right, a roll
So-
plus body.
Don't got any body, so we're gonna hope this goes good. Nope. That's not looking great.
What did you get?
I rolled a 5.
A 5.
So momentum, huh?
Yep, you could burn 2 to get it at least to a 7.
You know what? It's just too much for him. We'll take an injury. And gain
Oh,
one.
I'm gonna interrupt that. And at this point,
I
I'm
don't.
gonna say
I don't know if you can interrupt resolutions. I think we gotta draw a line probably there. Like interrupt is more for like the narrative control.
Okay. All right.
Because otherwise we would always like.
then we'd be like rerolls all the time.
I guess
Okay,
the question
got
is,
it.
what does injury do?
So probably like a 1 on the injury isn't going to be a permanent ending or anything for you. But if you rack up enough injury points, I think you've got little check boxes
I
there.
have 3 injury points worth of stuff. So I've taken 1. When you get injured, check an injury box. Whenever you lose a match due to your injury, lose all momentum. When you push through your injury to win a match, gain 1 momentum. There's 1.
Was this a working real stiff thing?
This
No,
was
this
the
is me
athletic
attempting
feat.
to do an athletic feat of something I should not be able to do.
Gotcha.
So, owie.
We'll take a look at it after or whenever we have a pause, because as you know, I'm all screwed up looking through the 300 pages of this PDF, and I'm not even on the page that I'm supposed to be on that has your moves. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that 1 injury is not going to have a huge.
Yeah, I think it just depends on like filling it up, and it seems to be a per
I believe you're right.
roll basis is all it is.
So
I
you
guess that
strain
it's
your
up to
back a
me.
bit.
Yep, I guess it's up to you what happens then.
So, yeah, well, I'll take control for just a second here to say, you know, everyone watched as like Jim Claiborne, he's like trying to like give you maybe a little bit of lift so that you could attempt it, but like you throw out your back as he's going up, and like he tumbles down, the weight of him on top of you, which you know, he's a veteran. Like he quickly like turns this into like a headlock, like a submission move to like give you some time to rest in the middle of the ring there. And like the momentum of the match kind of slows to a halt here a little bit as we have a couple more entrants that come running down to the ring one after another, and they get their spots in. We see Mr. Vegas come running down in his mint green tights, the big golden dollar sign on the butt. And he comes down. He's got, you know, he tosses his shades out to the crowd, and some kid grabs him. He gets a little bit of a pop. We also have Joey Kraken makes his way to the ring. He's got kind of a octopus-like mask. What was the name of that one guy that was in Ring of Honor? It's probably like that.
Oh, I know exactly who you're. They had like the white like octopus mask, right?
Yeah, like something like that. Like there's these like tentacles kind of like dropping off. Although I think that guy maybe like took the mask off. We'll say this guy like has it on, and it's a little annoying to like wrestle with him because his mask is always like getting in your face. So he's in there, and Hurricane Chad Pezlowski enters the ring. Just because I'm lazy, we'll say he's got what is it? Hurricane Helms. Do you remember the wrestling gimmick or the superhero gimmick? He had little
Yeah.
We'll say it's like that. He makes little whoosh sounds and puts his arms out as he like makes his way into the ring. And you've got these extra participants now. There's only 3 more people that will enter. We're in like the kind of the last throes of this match. And as the match continues, we end up seeing Hurricane and Joey Kraken both end up going over the top rope. They both like double eliminate each other. It's like as Hurricane makes his way to the ring and jumps in, Joey Kraken, the two of those guys, they have a rivalry, and so they lock up and they start just wailing on each other, and eventually like they start to move the momentum of their fight over to the ropes, and they double eliminate each other, and they just look at each other just completely frustrated with one another. This will definitely be like a feud that'll carry on next week, but the two of them are out. And
It's Kraken and Hurricane.
So Mr. Vegas is still in it.
Cool.
And I'm going to toss control at this point, as those couple of sequences went on. Toss it over to Dawson to take control.
So there's now 4 people left in the ring, correct? Them 2 and us.
Jim Laybourne, Mr. Vegas, and then you guys.
I mean, at this point in the match, the Ranger is probably just absolutely wrecked. He's got a really bad back. He's gonna start just crawling to you. I was gonna say.
So, just if I could challenge that, because Jim Laybourne has you like in a rest hold. So, is there like a? I guess narrate it from that like starting point.
He's gonna just say, "All right, I'm good now. Thanks," and start go for back elbows, just kicking him off slowly. Then start crawling to the corner, where Grimes is just sitting and waiting, and Grimes picks them up, and then he looks at you, says very intently, "One last time," and it looks towards the ring. The other 2, he's got his hand hovering over his hip, like he's ready to draw. And I guess, what do you want to do? He's setting up for his finishing move to get these guys out of the ring. And then, struggling through the ring, he starts charging forward. And I guess, what do you try to do to respond?
Is that like? Are you alluding to the finisher that
our old tag team finisher?
Okay, yeah, he's going along for the ride. Absolutely.
And with that, I think it starts up by we'll start attacking the Vegas guy first. Starts off with a rising knee strike up to the solar plexus of this fine gentleman, and he'll follow up kicking it over to Grimes with his secondary move.
Oh no. So then right after the knee, almost like a bang bang, is a super kick. And then back to the Ranger for the finishing touch.
After your super kick, we both wind up, do a 360 tornado kick right to this guy's chest and throw him out the ring.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna call this heat probably.
All right, yeah.
I got a +2. That's pretty. I'm gonna spend 1 momentum to turn that 7, which was then a 9, into a 10.
Hell
And this guy is gone.
So he gets thrown out. He just looks absolutely dazed as the double kick happens, and he goes flying over the top rope. And Donnie says something about having better luck next time, better go back to your hometown. And Mr. Vegas is out of there. At which point, just in time for the next participant to enter, and there's this really stately music that plays, and you could see this man coming out, and he's got like a suit and a tie, and or maybe a tie and like a professorial gown and a cap, and he's introduced as Professor Otomo, the Dean of Wrestling, and this is like a technical legend at the UW-Madison campus, and he just like strips away that graduation regalia, takes the hat and like flips it out to the audience, and he's got his wrestling gear on. You know, he's got like a Stone Cold knee brace, he's got a couple of elbow pads, and he hasn't really maintained his physique all that well over the years, but he's still got it. He's a veteran. He goes and he hurls himself into the ring, ready to enter.
Grams, I'm gonna need you to take out him, and he's pointing towards Jim Laybourne. I'll handle him. And he goes off to go do battle with the good old coach, while it is then between me and the professor. And since we're both very technical wrestlers, it's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of interchanging logs, arm bars into neck holds, into throws, into flips, and all the crazy technical stuff that is very difficult to describe.
This is old school mat wrestling, folks.
And then I'm going to attempt to set him up by trying to go for, I wouldn't almost call it a front flip, but kind of a handstand into my legs, wrapping onto his neck and attempting to throw him over the ring and get him that way.
All right.
Would you like body or work?
Whatever you think. I think it sounds more like a work, but
I will go with that because that is my strong suit. That would be a 12.
all right. You got him. Describe how he goes over and the fallout of that.
I would say that he's a very experienced wrestler, so he would know to start trying to drag him with him as he's about to go over. So he gets a little too close to the edge of the rope, I'd say the Ranger would. And as he's flipping this guy over, like he's holding on the top rope as the professor falls over, but he's like barely still in there. It's like one arm at one point, because I mean he's now slowly exhausting himself. He's like on his last legs.
But
And like he's sitting off the edge and just taking a breath.
So the professor looks bewildered that you were able to best him in that contest, but he looks up at you from the ground level, looks up at you, and he gives an applause. You've gained his respect. And he goes and he's like kind of working the crowd a little bit to start cheering for you, and there's a Ranger chant that breaks out. And a "This is awesome" chant. You've got them in the palm of your hand. And here, second to last entrant, we hear this like Bob Marley style music kind of play, and this guy starts walking out. He's got long tights, and he just looks he's kind of bobbing and dancing, and they introduce him as Reefer Sutherland. And he takes his time. He's kind of like going and like shaking hands with the crowd, and he kind of like gets distracted. It takes him quite a while to get to the ring, so there's some action that is going to continue to play out here as we go back to Dawson's narration of what's happening.
Oh, on the other side of the ring, it switches to a back and forth between the hardcore Grimes himself and the experienced vet that is Jim. I keep forgetting his name.
Jim Laybourne.
So, Jim Laybourne.
Keep on
And you know
hearing
what?
Jim Leahy.
And I will, for the sake of don't want to take control over you, I will relinquish the control to Grimes.
All right, so Grimes is, while that's been going on, Grimes has been working on Jim Laybourne, right? And like they've been having some back and forth. Is that kind of what you were intending, Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So while that's going on, Grimes is thinking, you know what? I need a big spot. All my spots have failed. I'm gonna do this. So he tells Claiborne to get ready for the Hurricane Rana. And he wants to do like the one where you like jump up on the shoulders backwards and then spin and then do the Hurricane Rana, right? So Grimes climbs up the top ropes. I'm going to call this an athletic feat to try and make that happen.
Okay.
God damn it. Okay, well, it happened. I got an 11. I really wanted to get injured, but I'll take it. So I do it easily. It goes off without a hitch, and I think Grimes is just so taken aback that someone helped him make something happen, because Grimes has never worked like well with anybody. It's always just been like, I'm gonna hit you as hard as I can. And when Grimes didn't really try, it just kind of like went through the motion and was super easy because Laybourne was doing all the work. So Grimes gets +1 heat with Laybourne, and it says, or if you don't have an opponent and you're just showing off, gain +2 momentum. No, this would be.
You can have heat with non-player wrestlers, so you could write down Jim Laybourne. And
Oh, okay, so I can have +1 with him. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
That works since he's the ref.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Uh-huh.
yeah, you want to get +4 heat with the ref so that every time you have a match, you get an audience.
I love it.
You never
so
win
then
matches, but
at this point, Reefer's finally sauntered and made his way to the ring. And Grimes pops up and sees Reefer, whips Reefer over to Ranger. Ranger does a quick drop toe hold. Reefer knocks down, and Ranger's doing, a bunch of submission stuff on him. Meanwhile, Grimes picks up Laybourne, and he's throwing punches, and then they start doing like the back and forth, the ooh, ooh, and eventually Laybourne does like a charging clothesline, knocks Grimes down. Grimes gets up, drop kick on Laybourne, and he starts stumbling backwards. And just like what we saw with the real big dude, the Soul Cleaver, he trips over the Ranger and Reefer, who are like engaged in this submission hold, and unintentionally is about to go over the top rope. And he does, with an 11. So crowd pops. I take 1 momentum.
was it Reefer Sutherland went over?
No, Jim Laybourne.
Or Jim Laybourne went over, okay.
Yeah. So I'll take that momentum. And then I'm going to actually say that Laybourne, like, he goes over the top rope, but he lands on the apron just as the final entrant comes out.
Okay. So he drops, and his feet touch the ground, and like on a dime, Donnie rips off that ref shirt and like throws it back at him, and he's like motioning for him to get back in the ring to start resuming his role as ref. And as that happens, you hear what does everybody want? And something that sounds kind of like Al Snow's music, but not exactly, plays. And you see Al Snow comes out. You know, he's somehow Nicky Notion must have busted out the wallet or the checkbook to bring in Al Snow. I'm sure his indie rate is real high. But anyway, he's there, and he's got like this, you know, the singlet on. He's got head. He's got the old gimmick, and he's making his way down, and he's like hitting himself in the head with that, and he's got "Help Me" written backwards on his forehead, and he charges into the ring, and there's just like the loudest pop that this audience of about 1,000 people like ever gives.
All right, so Al Snow starts running on everybody that's in the ring, just head smashes right on everybody. Ranger gets up, he gets hit. Reefer gets up, he gets hit. Everybody, and he's just like, so Al Snow starts working the crowd. The crowd's chanting head. Al Snow then goes over to grab Reefer, and am I able to like narrate a Regal Wrangle like throw over the top rope with a wrestler that is not Grimes?
Sure. Let's just say like you want to have Al Snow put Reefer over. We'll just say it happens.
Yeah. Okay. So Al is, you know, giving him the business with the head, Irish whip, and they're just real simple, unceremonious clothesline that just knocks him over. Nice, like, good pop for the crowd, quick, easy, high momentum thing. Reefer does a nice little like tumble, hits the barricade, that kind of stuff. At which point, Ranger and Grimes are looking at Al, and Al's looking at them and just smiling. Ranger again does the holster, and he yells out one more time.
One last time.
And Grimes shows the signal again, and Ranger goes up to do his knee, and Grimes goes up and does the super kick, but this time he hits Ranger right in the back of the head, and Ranger stumbles to go over the top rope.
I will interrupt.
Okay.
I ain't gonna let this happen. He's tumbling forward. He's about to fall over, and then just as he's going over, he's gonna just grab Al's good old Al and just start dragging him with him. He's tumbling out the ring. It's not looking good. He's using anything that can stop his momentum, and he's holding on to the head and kind of like using that as his leverage. And he's gonna try and just yank it off, and then I don't know how to go from here. I'm just trying to stop myself at this point, so I don't know how that works.
However you want it to, man.
Mm-hmm. You're in control.
I'm in control.
You just use the basic interrupt here to burn one momentum to, or is it one of your abilities?
Interrupt. Just the basic interrupt.
Are you at 1 now?
I'm at 1 momentum. And so from there, I will just throw the head down at the edge of the ring and just shout, "Wait!" And he reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a rolled up piece of parchment that looks yellow and stained.
Are you Marty McFly?
What could it be? What could it be?
And he hands it to Al.
Al looks at it.
And then fucking throw him out of the ring.
Okay.
Grab him by his waistband, toss him out.
All
He's
right.
using the surprise factor, the ring awareness to get his advantage if he can. Bam. That is 9.
All
So-
right.
Give any momentum? Oh.
But it doesn't quite go over, and he's still in the match. And I'll hand it back to him, to creative, for a +1 momentum.
All right. You get +1 momentum. Al Snow manages to hang on to the ropes. He stuffs that piece of paper in his mouth. And he starts to chew it, and he's gonna eat it. And he rolls himself back into the ring, he tries to roll you up for a pin, like with just like a roll up pin, and
It's like a 6 count.
Daddy's just like, Al's. Did Nikki tell Al what kind of a match he's in? And the ref is just like over there. Jim is over there like trying to explain to Al Snow that this is like a Royal Rumble style match. And there's just like a bit of confusion there as Al's trying to figure it out. And the crowd is like there's like murmuring crowd, and they're trying to figure out who to align their allegiance behind. But
Interrupt. So while that's happening, Grimes finds the pliers, and he thinks he's going to make a name for himself. So he's going to work real stiff on Al Snow with these pliers and try and make him go the hard way to knock him out of this pin. All right, here we go. That's it. Okay, so 2. So instead, it hurts me. I take an injury, which is what I'm looking for here.
Yes.
And creative makes a hard move.
oh, okay. So like you go over there with the pliers, and very loudly and audibly, Al Snow manages to like grab your wrist, and he starts standing up from. He lets go of Tom Kendall, who he was pinning as you went over to him. He grabs your wrist, he moves up, and he like is putting your own momentum, your own force to put the pliers right up against like one of your canines. And he's like, "You don't think me and Mick ever worked with pliers?" And he goes and he yanks, and your tooth he kind of pops, and the tooth goes flying into the audience. Obviously it's like an implant. You haven't had that tooth for a long time. But you have
got lots of fake teeth.
piece of gum or something that was lodged in there.
Yeah.
And he oh man, I have to do a hard move. Okay. We are going to say that with that, as you're like kind of holding on to your mouth like that, he tosses you over the top rope.
Oh man. All right.
And he's gonna start to like kind of like running around the ring, like whooping it up. And so we've got 3 people left. We've got Frugal, Dougal, Tom Kendall, and Al Snow.
Dougal's out.
Oh, Dougal's out?
Yeah.
I've been out for a while. I threw myself out of the ring, trying to help out Grimes.
Then that means it's just Tom Kendall and Al Snow in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Kendall, the Ranger, is exasperated. He's been in this match since the number 1 spot.
I was gonna say it's number 1, right?
Oh man, this is awesome. This is a match I want to see.
But Al Snow realizes that he's kind of the guest wrestler, and so he kind of like he holds back, like he's waiting for you to get back up on your feet, and he's kind of pumping up the crowd, just starts clapping, like that momentum, like clap, 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 clap. Sorry, I missed that, Isaac. You got thrown out. We'll say that Donnie throws down the headset to you to be working color commentary.
Okay.
And so, as this momentum is happening, what would we be hearing over the airwaves?
What do I put? Where do I put my? What is this? Oh, this. Oh, here. A little bit of like juggling with it. Oh, my. The wicked Grimes has been dispatched. You turd. But, oh, what is that? Allie? Al Snow. He seems to be letting. He seems to be letting old Tommy on his feet. Gramercy, Gramercy, Al, Gramercy, he kind of yells as he kind of looks over. Come on, Tommy! Come on!
And then control goes to Dawson.
Just absolutely, at this point, he's got an injured back. He's slowly getting up. He's got the wobbles. He's like trying to make an effort, go for a couple of punches, and like Al Snow is just holding him back. And he's gonna do the one last thing he's got up in his sleeve. He's gonna go to that paper that is a little bit torn up. Hand him it. And as he opens it and tries to read it, it says, wanted, dead or alive. And I'm going to use my heal move to spend 2 momentum to cheat by absolute horrible heel fashion, straight dick punch.
Ding! Ding, ding. All right, so, do you have 2 momentum you want to spend?
I have 2 momentum to spend here. I am now back to 0.
And what are you choosing with your heel underhandedness?
Ooh, there's 2 excellent options here. I don't know if I want to paint you with El Snow. It's definitely one. But I was thinking none other than to cheat in order to book yourself to win the match.
Hell yeah. So what does it look like? Tell us the finish to the match.
Although not very technical, but very smart for the wing awareness, he goes for the good old punch to the, family jewels. He takes him down to his knees, where he then sets up his finisher, lines himself back up to the rope, grabs the head that's lying there, does a rising knee strike, and just smacks him baseball style with the head to knock him out the ring.
All right. That all happens. The crowd is going wild. And it's like it's like the mixed kind of thing. Like half of them are booing you, but the other half are like, this is amazing. Like we're seeing Al Snow get hit in the head with head again, and being tossed out of the ring. No one's really expecting Al Snow to win this match. But you solidly get the crowd behind you. What are we hearing on commentary?
Well, he's gonna kind of just say, well, it seems for that Tommy has a few tricks up his period pocket, after all. Mine eyes cannot, what is that? Is that a real head? That, oh, and he was thrown, he got knocked and fell over.
Yeah, he hits the barricade.
Tommy, you've done it! And he's gonna kind of just rip off he's gonna rip off the headset. And I think I might do it. I might go and kind of just go to the ring, kind of holding my mouth still because I lost a tooth, right? holding the ring, and just being like, ah, like cheering you on. I grab my pike on the side, and I'm just like cheering for you on the side of the ring.
Awesome. Meanwhile, you also have your hand is being raised up high by Jim Laybourne. And thank you so much for the follow, Nugget. We appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us. Closing moments of Worldwide Wrestling. And it is pronounced over the mic. Nikki comes out again, and she says, "Congratulations, Tom Kendall. You've done it. You are now the #1 contender for the WTF Championship, a match which we will see next week between you and whoever wins this next contest." And you end up getting exited out. There's like a commercial break that happens and such. And is there anything that's happening backstage, potentially, as all of the participants of the Regal Wrangle gather back in the locker room?
Gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't see where your tooth went.
I've got like 50 of them. It's
all right,
fine.
good. Well, I owe you a beer.
I lose 8 of them a night. It's fine.
Zach,
It's fine.
come on, man. Why'd you have to go like that? I was trying to pick you up.
Yeah, well, if Al Snow would just play ball, he's supposed to. He's out the hardcore legend or whatever. My ass.
Yeah, you guys don't see him. He's got like his own private locker room that's like separate from where you guys are hanging
You
out.
really,
No,
you
my
really
ass.
tried to.
Go ahead.
No, good. It's just because you really tried to pull his. That wasn't something you guys set up.
He's fine. Like he would be fine. He blows himself up in Japan. He barbed wire and I don't know, trash cans, whatever. He'd be fine. He'd be fine. It's just a tooth.
Pulled a tooth out of a living legend?
Well,
What are you thinking?
That is
I was thinking that nobody's done that in a while, let alone around here. And we keep being told we gotta try and get more virality. So I did what I know best.
That's Al Snow, though.
He also ruined my bounty paper. That took me at least 50
He
cents.
ruined his bounty paper.
You should have said it.
He ate like the name of it. It had a picture of you on it, Grimes. I was gonna try and help put you up on the pedestal to get you something.
You think, Grimes?
And then he ate it.
Maybe because he saw that it said it was a wanted poster for Grimes and not for him. Maybe he was trying to not let.
I don't know. He was folded up, man. I'm gonna lay down now. My back.
You gotta clear that with someone before you start trying to pull their teeth out. I'm just saying.
So while you guys are talking, there's a match in progress in the ring. And the audience is seeing Jackie D, the Jack of Hearts, the current champion, is in a match with the Muse, who won their #1 contendership last week and earned themselves this spot. And you could probably hear the chants and the enthusiasm kind of echoing through all the way back to the locker room. And the match has gone on for like 15 minutes or so while you guys are talking and such. But at some point, Nikki comes running in and she says, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." She's got her headset on and like one part of the earpiece is kind of out as she's talking to you. She's like, "The Muse just got injured. For real. Legit. Like, she can't finish the match. I need something. I need something."
I got it.
All right.
I will. Wait, who's booked?
You would end up winning yourself.
She's like, "I think you hit your head pretty hard. Do you think you should be going out there? You're already the #1 contender." Let's hear the pitch.
You know what? You're probably.
Get some ice for that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good out there. I don't think I'd.
Come Come
Okay.
on, you got out so early. You got it.
All right. I'm gonna look because kind of veteran style. He's kind of worried. He's kind of worried about Grimes a bit. He's gonna be like, "You sure you don't want it, kid?"
I mean, no, not this one. This doesn't feel right. Grimes goes in unexpected. This is planned. I don't do planned.
This is not planned. I need something now.
Okay, here we go. All right. Where the hell is my flint? Oh, where did I leave my pike out there? Oh, screw it. Come here. And I'm gonna bring out. I'm gonna pull Grimes, and I'm gonna say screw it, and I'm gonna say here, get on top, and I'm gonna get you to be my pike as I come into the ring because I don't know where my pike is, so I'm carrying you.
Oh, maybe the pike got like broken after you guys threw out the fallen paladin. Like in his rage, like he broke the pike. So, like he's trying to set up some heat between the two of you.
All right. So then, like, I guess then we would, yeah, I would just say just bring out Grimes just because he's like all kind of limp as I bring him out. As all of a sudden, I guess my music would come out and hit, and Grimes, you're gonna be sitting there for a bit, kind of like dazed, and I'm gonna come out just stomping for truth, and I have you as my pike, and as soon as we get to like the outside, I'm gonna find like a spot that's like double padded and be like, all right, you gotta take it, and he's gonna like do like the drop on you and just leave you there on the floor, and then he's gonna kind of jump in quickly, just like "Rah!" And then he'll look and see maybe his pike is broken on the corner there and be like, no! And he's gonna be looking for whoever's there.
Yeah, so like in the ring, you see that Jackie D is just like mud stomping the Muse, who's like legitimately like hurt and like blew a quad or something. Is just like laying on the ground, and he's just like doing whatever he can to kind of delay or stall this match. So he's like stomping on her, and then you come down to the ring. Your music plays, and he stops, and like he goes to like the ring ropes, and he's just like staring out, and he starts like kind of like berating you, like, "What the hell, man? Get your ass back! You don't belong out here. This doesn't concern you."
That good man is hurt. You must stop. As I'm bringing out Grimes as my pike. That poor innocent man. You must stop. You weasel turd. You dotard. You slobbered goblin. Forsooth.
He just like picks up Grimes, just like, I don't have to help him, and then like throws him like off into the audience, and like a couple of the like audience members like catch Grimes and go toppling backwards in their chairs.
And then that's probably when I'll come running in to come after, and I'm gonna go up against. I'm gonna just like, as the Muse is down right there, I'm gonna go in and try to like kind of put myself in between the Muse and what is the other guy's name? Real quick, so I can
Jackie
remember.
D. The
Jackie
Jack of
D.
Hearts.
Jack of Hearts, and he's gonna kind of like position himself across from him and go, all right.
So he goes and he like grabs like a weapon. Let's say he just goes and he grabs like the ring bell,
Okay.
and then rolls into the ring, and he's like motioning for you to like get out of the way. He's gonna hit her with the bell. And then, you know, Jim Laybourne is like, if you do that, I will disqualify you and this match will be over.
Do it. And he's gonna just be, and he'll stand firm. I cannot allow you to hurt this man when he's down. If you hurt someone, hurt me. Forsooth.
And I think, unless you got something better,
No.
it's going to be that he runs towards
No.
you and hits you with the bell
Mm-hmm.
and knocks you out. and then he goes and he just starts like hitting the Muse with the bell. He gets disqualified by Jim Laybourne. And then like he like oversells it like that he's like legitimately like knocked her out. And then the match ends and like there's booing, like everyone's disappointed by this. And then Nikki Notion comes out and she says, Jackie D, this behavior is despicable. This is abhorrent, what you have done to the Muse. We're gonna have to get her checked out by medical, but you've just sealed your fate because the man that you just clocked in the head is going to make sure that next week's match against Tom Kendall the Ranger is overseen with integrity, overseen with honor, and that there's a sense of chivalry. The special guest referee for next week's match is Frugal Dougal, the pikeman. The crowd goes crazy. They're cheering. They want to see that match, and that's like the segment that like closes out the evening.
I'm gonna use my banked advance to say that my role as the Pike gave me the +1 audience.
Hell yeah, it did.
So
Hell yeah, it did.
I'm back up to +1.
Awesome. I believe the Ranger gets an audience because of winning the Regal Wrangle. Hey, the Lollygaggers, thank you so much for the raid coming on in. Let's give you a shout out. What were you all playing here tonight? We are just finishing up our playthrough of Worldwide Wrestling. We did a session 0 last week, and this was our first full episode that we have just finished up. We just did like a Royal Rumble style match. And we have crowned one of our player wrestlers, the Ranger Tom Kendall, as the #1 contender to the WTF Championship. And there was a little bit of funny business after the Regal Wrangle. The pikeman, Frugal Dougal, went to defend the honor of the Muse, who was legitimately injured in the middle of the ring. And they set up a segment where Frugal Dougal will be the special guest referee of Tom Kendall's match for the WTF Championship. And we are going to have to see what is going to happen with Grimes. His stock is a little bit low, still employed with the company, but I think there's going to be probably some segments addressing his status in the WTF next week. You missed it. It's okay. We'll be back. He can come back next week, Monday. We're doing a couple of these. We'll be doing another one on Monday starting at 8 p.m. Central to see how this one plays out. And Frugal Dougal is going to earn the top spot in the company. So even though he is not the #1 contender right now, he might have the option to book himself into some matches in the future, or even name some stipulations and such. So hey Tux, yeah, this is a great system, so much fun. It is a lot of fun once you get the hang of it. You got a break. I think the want for things to fit into nice boxes with this system is not there. It's more about the creativity, and we're still, I think, all trying to figure out our rhythm, but I think it came together quite nicely. I think the Regal Wrangle setup was really nice for that, because you weren't stunted to just like one opponent. There's a lot more possibility with the different non-player wrestlers coming in, and then I think it worked nicely to have all three of our characters pretty early on in the match. So
yeah, and it helped us just like stay in the match, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, we're doing the match for 15 minutes and now we're out of the match. Like I felt like that helped me start to figure out like, okay, I can see how this system can start to work to be a little bit more engaging.
Yeah. And then we're still working on the in-ring stuff. Once we can get past that, we can start bringing in some of the fun backstage stuff. It'll really
for sure
start to take off. And we might bring in a guest player. I don't know if it'll be next week or not. It might be next week. We'll see. But yeah, it'd be kind of fun to bring a couple of people on here that want to try it out and feel it out and see what it's like. We might be able to do that. So I guess with that, we're going to close things out. Sorry, all of you that just jumped in. We were just at the tail end, but if you want to keep up to date with anything that we are doing, please join our Discord server. It's where you can see our schedule and such. I see Stream Elements just popped up, little notice on X-Crawl Classics. So this past weekend, we had Brendan LaSalle on the channel talk a little bit about X-Crawl Classics, which is kind of a D&D analog to pro wrestling, maybe in some ways. It's sort of like dungeon crawling on pay-per-view. And so they're doing a Kickstarter for that using Dungeon Crawl Classics rules. You can check out that link and see what that's all about. We're going to be running an actual play of that with Brendan LaSalle, the designer of it, on Saturday at 10 a.m. Then come see that and
Nice.
see how it plays. So, okay, with that, I think we will call it a night. Let's see if we have anybody that we can pass a raid on to. Let's go and raid Somnia Night RPG. All right, thanks everybody. We will see you next week
Bye.
for more Worldwide Wrestling.
Brother.
Brother.
Oh yeah.